Oh, the things I do for this podcast. Welcome back to the Scared Stiff podcast. This is your host, Mike, and this is my co-host, Scott. How you doing today, buddy? Did you have fun watching this fucking movie?
Yeah, I got fresh new slick dew. I fucking sat down and watched Leprechaun.
When you told me you wanted to watch this, I was not enthused because I actually made a point to say to myself, I have no interest in ever watching Leprechaun, and I could keep it that way and be pretty happy with my life. But here we are. We've watched Leprechaun. And I had quite the animated watch of this because I was watching it the whole time and I was just asking questions aloud. I was just so confused watching this entire movie. What the fuck was going on? And I said to myself out loud, this looks like if you took a Goosebumps episode, stretched it to 90 minutes.
Oh, yeah. That's a great way to put it. That's honestly great.
It fucking looks like a Goosebumps episode.
Oh, the best part is there's a transition when they're trying to describe, oh, so what happened? And they do a little flip, and I'm like, that's like a fucking TV transition.
I said the same thing. I'm like, that looks like a fucking TV transition. What the fuck is going on? This was released theatrically. What's going on? I was also, when they entered the fucking nursing home, the camera came outside, just like a normal pan or whatever, to her getting out of the Jeep, and then just randomly decided, oh, let's make it a Dutch angle in the middle of the shot. I was like, what the fuck was the point in this? Like, it doesn't add anything to it. It's just a random choice.
There's also another shot where they're going into the coin place to get it evaluated, and then inside the coin place, it's clearly a basement, and I mean very clearly a basement.
Stairs down to it and everything.
And then it shows the freaking fucking tricycle that the Leprechaun's on just go into frame, and then it cuts just a regular shot of the tricycle, which is not in the same area at all. And it's like, why would you do that? Also, get out of this basement. You are not a coin shop.
I was also trying to figure out how he ended up in the fucking safe. I mean, I get magic, blah, 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 all that stuff, but when you see him, go places, generally speaking, it's like a believable way that he can get there. Whereas that he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just in the safe. I guess so, yeah.
He does it later in the film where it's
really weird though, because they make a big deal out of saying he can't do everything he's supposed to be able to do because he doesn't have his gold. So to me, it's just like they don't know what his power set is. And
I don't know if it's because he doesn't have his gold. I was under the assumption it's because he's been stuck under the 4-leaf clover for so long, and because they drained his power or whatever.
When Aniston gives him the bag of gold, he's like, I got my power back with his bag of gold. So his gold is his power source, I guess, or something. It's weird. I don't know what the rules to this movie is.
They say he has magic. It's just not as strong because he does some magical stuff before.
Yeah, he does some of it, but when he gets it back, he's like, I got my power back, and the bag glows.
Maybe it's in those wrestling games when you save up a finisher. He has one saved finisher from the start of every fight, and that's he used it to teleport. He's like, cool, I teleported. Really gotta be careful now. I'm really fucking low on energy, and I might have to kick his ass when I get another finisher.
I think this movie's just an excuse to beat up little people.
Only one person beats him up, man. Everyone else is fucking dumb. He gets
shot a lot.
By one guy, though.
Yeah, but he gets shot 6 times. He gets kicked. He gets punched. He gets hit with various different blunt objects.
So, first off, though, before we get any more into it, did you like it?
Critically, no.
No, but did you have fun watching it? Did you enjoy your experience?
It definitely delivered the what the fuck factor, so I guess a little bit. I wouldn't say this is something that I would just throw on to watch for fun, but I wasn't mad watching it. I was just confused the whole time. I feel like this is a movie that you would throw on with friends. You just hoot and holler and have a good time making fun of it. It's categorically a bad movie. It's really bad. There are things I like about it, legitimately like about it. I think that the Leprechaun looks good.
Yeah, it's a great design.
Some of the gore effects, there's very little violent, very little, for a movie that's a slasher kind of. There's not much. Yeah. There's not much death in this movie, but a couple of the effects are actually pretty impressive. I mean, the pogo stick kill's funny. That's really funny. It's fun to watch Warwick Davis. He's having fun. I'm having fun watching him. I don't even mind the characters. I don't mind.
I think they're fun enough. I think they're decent characters. I don't want them to die.
100% Jennifer Aniston in this is playing Rachel from Friends before she was Rachel on Friends. You can easily see where she went from here to Friends because it's a very similar character, especially at the very beginning of Friends. So she's fun to watch. she's not bad or anything. The main guy is pretty good. He's walking around in a sleeveless vest, just fucking flexing his muscles all the time. But you know, whatever. It's the '90s. Whatever.
I love that the name of their company's Three Guys That Paint.
Three guys that paint, and only two of them technically paint because the kid doesn't do shit.
I guarantee you, the kid paints more than the other guy who has like problems processing things.
Nah, man, he's there. He's got his paintbrush in his hand, and Alex, the kid, is just sitting there on the ladder.
I love that the dad says, "Hey, you guys want help?" And then the kid's like, "Well, you know, our liability fucking says we can't do that." And it's like, okay, well, this kid's fucking hilarious. That kid,
he also like
that's the '90s right there, though. It's like kids who are just way smarter and do way more than an average child should do. That's just them in the '90s.
Yeah. They're way smarter until they're not. It's also funny because like the truck's like shit. They need a new truck or something, and it's all fucked up. And it's just like, hey, Alex, go fix the truck. Is it like he's like I don't know how to do it. You do it. It's like, you're a fucking child. You're a grown ass man, my guy.
So this is gonna go everywhere in this episode easily because it's just so much to have fun with, laugh at, joke about. Yeah. What's your favorite scene? I got mine.
Probably the scene where he's fucking driving down the street, driving down the highway in the fucking.
That's my favorite.
There's other scenes that get me like just what the fuck about, like scenes like when they're in the hospital or not the hospital, the nursing home, and he's chasing her in the wheelchair.
That's great too, yeah.
Because it reminds me of like our conversation during American Werewolf of London as far as speed versus the actual weight.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he's driving faster than a fucking Lamborghini, I swear to God, in that fucking wheelchair. And she's just running like casually, and he's wow. It was like, how is he not catching her?
Best thing too is there's scenes where you see him behind her wheeling, and he looks so fucking slow.
Exactly. That's my thing.
In my head, it's just that he thinks he's going really fast. He's like, I'm a fucking speed demon, but like someone's watching him go.
Maybe I don't know. It's just also again bringing it back to that TV feeling, because that is a type of
that's a Goosebumps gag right there.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like you watch like TV shows, they use this like especially in like the 90s, 80s, 90s. They speed up the footage to create speed.
Yeah.
One of the big things that reminds me, we were talking about Smallville before, very briefly, but the first episode of Smallville, he gets hit by a car, I think, and they speed the car up, like literally speed the footage up to convey speed, and it looks so bad. And
that
they do
that about that though in this movie is that they speed up the footage, but the Leprechaun looks like he's going in regular speed. I think it's because Warwick Davis is just going in slow motion when he does stuff.
Maybe.
So I think that's pretty impressive if they do it like that, because I can't tell that well, but they don't do that shit in most TV shows or in even most movies where it's just like, all right, you sped up the footage. At least with him, he doesn't look like he's going super fast with the way he emotes or whatever.
For me, it looks very obvious.
Oh, especially, no, I'm not saying like the speeding up of the footage doesn't look obvious. It looks super obvious. I just mean the Leprechaun, like the way he's emoting his face doesn't look obvious.
Yeah.
I think that's impressive. I think it's pretty easy to say, oh, it's just a fucking leprechaun. You guys just got someone with dwarfism to play this random role. It's like, no, he's actually really good. Like
Warwick Davis is
awesome.
Actor.
There's a reason he has so many roles in Hollywood.
There's a reason why people like the Leprechaun movies. Like,
yeah.
Is this a series I'm now gonna watch the rest of? Probably not. Like, I really don't care to watch the rest of it. This first one was entertaining enough, but I can't say like I'm really invested in seeing the next Leprechaun movie. But
I watched the second one though.
But
Vegas, baby.
Warwick Davis is the reason to watch this movie at all.
Yeah.
Because he as the Leprechaun, he's having a fucking blast, and that's why it works. Fuck, I mean, like I love when he fucking goes into their kitchen and grabs a fucking box of Lucky Charms. It's not called Lucky Charms.
Yeah, Lucky Clovers.
Lucky Clovers or whatever, and he's just fucking downs it. It's like, oh my god, this guy's an absolute madman. This movie's crazy. It's not something, again, like I would ever throw in on my own again, but like having a couple of buddies over, slapping some pizza and some beer or something down my gullet, like I guess it could be entertaining.
I love the gag where in the movie he always gets another vehicle that's like a hopped up version of the last one. Yep. I love that he gets the tricycle. It's like, oh, whatever, he gets the tricycle, and then he finds the car. He's like, ooh, look at this ride. I love the entire scene on the highway, my favorite scene. But then later in the film, he gets the fucking thing from the barn, and apparently he soups up with magic where he knocks over the truck.
They don't convey that that's what happens, which is why.
No, they don't. It's so funny.
It's why it confuses me because he just rides up. Oh, he put a pitchfork on the front of it, so he's just gonna like spear someone in the leg.
I thought he was gonna spear the tire so it can't go anywhere.
That's what I thought, and then he hits it, and the car goes flying, dude. It goes absolutely flying, and I'm just there like, I literally shouted, "What the fuck was that?"
I love that because
I don't understand that shit.
They show the shot where he hits it, and I'm like, oh, so he's gonna try to stab into the car, and then the car just goes boom. I'm like, well, I just certainly didn't expect that.
It goes for a roll. Everyone gets out of it. Not a single scratch on them.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? Oh my god. And that's an old truck. That looks like it's probably like from the 60s.
That would not have done the full roll. It would have just gone over and then just...
That thing would be heavy.
Yeah.
That'd be a thick boy. So when he flipped down, I'm like, wow, that's some magic. That's some fucking magic. But back to the highway scene. The fucking guy came out of the car. He's just belittling the fucking leprechaun.
Oh yeah, man. He's such an asshole.
Especially
he thinks it's a child too. So like he's just making fun of a child.
He's being a dick to a child at that point.
Like it's really funny. I just love the idea because it looks like a fucking toy car just going like fucking 80 on a highway.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck RBG bullshit was that, dude?
He does that, and the cop's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking teach this guy a lesson. I love how the leprechaun pulls over, too. It's just so fucking funny. The entire scene is so great. It goes, shouldn't you be going to bed right now? It's like, you know what? You're fucking dead, and I kind of can't wait for that to happen. You're asking for it.
He was asking for... They were running through the woods after that. And for one thing, again, back to the American Werewolf in London thing we're talking about, where like the distance and speed don't match up in editing. They show like the leprechaun is on his ass, just like right behind him, chasing him, and then they cut to him running towards the camera. There's nothing there, and then he just steps out from behind a tree. I'm like, well, what the fuck? What happened? I don't understand how this is. Like the editing for this is ridiculously stupid. It's magic, okay, cool, but it's more so an excuse for bad editing. But yeah, I was sitting watching. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, what? And then like he's chasing Jennifer Aniston later in the film, and they kind of pull it again, where it's just like he's right on her ass, and then nothing really happens. And also they had the choice to shoot him from behind, chasing her from behind. It was a really weird choice to me to have both. I mean, it's more so like, I don't know. It's just like they're running slowly. They're not running very fast. No. It's so stupid.
I think one of the...
Oh, and the cop throws his fucking...
That's what I want to talk about. It's
like you're asking to die. Like,
so every scene that sets up of like what people like when they're fighting the leprechaun or they're in situations. I'll say this much: it's not a whole lot of times I'm saying, "Oh, you're fucking dumb" or whatever. Leprechaun pops out of your safe and you're like, "All right, I'm just shocked." He bites your leg. Okay, cool. You're just too shocked to react. I can buy that. Yeah. The strong guy who's buff, he gets caught in a bear trap, so he can't walk. Okay, it makes a lot of excuses for why he doesn't just fucking punt the little bastard. That's cool. They set up reasons for why these things happen. But that is the only time where I said in this film, alright, you're just fucking stupid. You threw it, and you're just like, what do you gain out of that? You gain fucking nothing.
I was like, that's
the best part, it's in the car later in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I guess Leprechaun went and picked it up so he could make sure he had it.
Yeah.
He just... That was my thing, is he threw it into the bushes, not in the direction of noises or anything. He just threw it into the bushes. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? That's your only weapon, you idiot.
That's the dumbest thing I've seen in a fucking horror film in a long time, where it's just, there's no at all reason behind it.
That blew me away. I was just like, you're a cop, bro. What the fuck are you doing?
I'll say one thing I do like about the Leprechaun is he's able to throw his voice to do different voices.
It's pretty cool.
And it works every single time narratively why characters would let him out or everything. It's like, usually things, it's like, oh, how did Jason come back? Some random convenient bullshit happens. How about the Leprechaun? He throws his voice, you think it's a child in a fucking box. You're not gonna not let out a child who's fucking enclosed in some box. That's a good, sneaky thing.
I'll say the one that kind of caught me off guard, and I'm still kind of like weird about, is him talking to the sheriff.
I like that a lot.
It's cool, but it's just like he knows police terminology. That just kind of weird to me for a leprechaun. But I mean, that's thinking a little bit too much into this.
Yeah.
I get that. It's just like, how does he know the fucking different designations for dispatch? Like, I don't understand what he's doing.
I just also love the fact where it's like, yo, Ozzy, call him up. The Leprechaun's there. And they're like, you fucking idiot. So she calls separately, like, oh, yeah. Phone dials. She's like, it's okay, the call went through. And it's like, oh, yeah, Triplet, can you go over there? Knowing he's fucking dead. Oh, yeah. I love how the movie covers its tracks pretty well when it comes to shit like, oh, well, shouldn't this happen? What about this? We have answers. Why dipshit through his dick? No reasonable answer, but most other things, yeah, I got a few answers for you.
Yeah, contextually, him being able to throw his voice and become the cop's voice so that he could tell him, I'm gonna go do it, don't worry about it, essentially, makes, like, all that, like, checks. I'm just, like, kind of hung up on how he knows how to respond, but it's okay. It's really not a big deal. That's really nitpicking, destroying. There's way more bigger issues I could bitch about with this movie than
oh yeah, for sure. I just think it's so fucking fun. The movie's so stupid, but like I just had so much fun watching because I'm like, this shit's dumb. I like the characters. The Leprechaun's funny. They just get into some stupid shit hijinks. It's an hour and a half. That's well spent to me.
It's not like it's a terrible time commitment or something. Like, it's not like it's like a 2-hour film or something.
If it was 2 hours, everything to me would become much more undeserving, and it would become a lot less of a joyride.
Yeah, I mean, like, this isn't a terrible. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's a pretty bad movie, but it's not something that I would say like I'm angry that I watched at this point. It's just like, I wish it took a little bit for me to get into the fun factor of the movie, especially like, I didn't really like the opening that much with the O'Grady's.
Yeah,
like it was kind of just like
decent. The toughest thing is they kind of make Tracy a little too unlikable at the beginning too. If it wasn't because you thought Jennifer Aniston was attractive, you'd probably have a tougher time wanting her to live. But the love interest character, he's a decent enough nice guy. His brother is a nice kid. And then Ozzy is just a lovable guy because, he doesn't know what he's doing most of the time. So they have a good set of characters you can get latched onto. Tracy starts flirting with the other guy, becomes more likable, and as the film goes on, it gets easier and more fun to digest. But the get-go, it's kind of like, all right,
where's this going?
Stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say that Jennifer Aniston, I can't remember the name of the actor who plays or even the name of the character for the love interest.
Oh.
But
yeah.
Nathan, whoever, what's her name? Tracy,
Nathan, Alex, Ozzy. Those are all the characters I believe. Nathan, yeah. I'm not 100% sure on, but I'm pretty positive.
Her father's barely in the fucking movie too.
He's good though. He's likable.
But like the best part for me with that was when she gets scratched on the leg.
Yeah. I love that. I know what a man caressing my leg feels like. You
do? What? He's like, I thought it was. No, she says, I thought you were the one caressing my leg. He's like, would you let me?
Yeah, I love that too. That's the thing. These characters are just funny. They interact well together.
Some of it's legitimately funny.
Oh,
Some of it's funny because it's bad.
Craziest thing to me for an early 90s film is that the two characters that are the love interests don't get together at the end. They don't kiss or anything.
There's no romantic, there's obviously romantic tension. I'm sure if you saw, if the sequel had them both in it, they'd be together.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like they don't really focus so much on the romance once shit goes down, and it makes way more sense. Because some movies, like, they're like, oh, this could be our last night together, and then they go off and have sex for some reason.
Yes.
Here they
didn't. I'm gonna die a fucking virgin.
Once they get to a certain point in the movie, it's all about the chase and the taking down the leprechaun, which to me, that's good. They weren't sidetracked by meaningless bullshit. It's just that some of it's really fucking goofy.
And all the side stuff too, like getting the coin evaluated and everything, leading to those characters. That's all fun because people die. And the characters that die you don't care about. That's the thing with slashers. You need to have deaths for characters that you don't care about because it rakes up the kill count and it makes the film more enjoyable to a general audience. You also have to have characters that are likable, that you don't want to die, so if they do die, you're like, oh shit, I was invested. Or if they don't die, you're like, whew. And I think Leprechaun has a good balance of that. Maybe have a few more deaths in there, maybe like one or two of people you don't care about.
I don't know.
I think it works pretty well for the balance, for an idea.
I feel weird saying this because it's, 4 characters I do like. I kind of wish for stakes reason that at least one of them died.
Yeah, it's tough. I wouldn't want, if they killed off Ozzy, I feel like that would be, I would say it would be distasteful. It would just seem off because
Yeah.
he's a very childish person and he doesn't understand the weight of his actions. So killing him could be tough.
He clearly is possibly on like the spectrum or something. So
Yeah.
like killing him is kind of fucked up. Can't kill the kid.
No, you can't. I like the love interest guy too. I wouldn't want him to die.
It's like I don't want any of these people to die, but it's just like it feels like nothing. The threat and danger in this movie isn't super high to me.
They should have had another character who's like a best friend or whatever.
Maybe the dad dies. Like he's likable. He's likable. Don't get me wrong, but you know if he came back at the end, he came out of the hospital and you know was there at the end and he dies. Like I'm not saying that everybody has to die for there to be stakes in the movie. It's just it feels. The horror aspect of this film feels less than the comedy aspect because it feels like they're not as focused on actually delivering kills.
I would agree.
And especially because it is pretty much a slasher, that's what also adds to it because it's a slasher with like what three deaths in the entire movie.
There's the cop, there's Mama the
O'Grady.
coin guy, there's O'Grady, and there's O'Grady's wife.
O'Grady does die, yeah.
So there's four deaths.
I forgot he died because he's just magically in the elevator shaft for some reason.
That is funny. I love the idea of he just like the leprechaun threw him with so much force he broke to the top of the elevator. The ideas of these things are so innately hilarious.
Yeah. For one thing, when they're in the fucking old people home to go see O'Grady, well, when she is,
yeah.
Why randomly they throw Dutch angles in there? I don't understand it. It's just like she's just walking down the hallway and it's like, ooh, and I'm like, what is this? I guess like Dutch angles are supposed to like kind of maximize tension, maybe that's what they're trying to use it for. But like, there's nothing going on in the scene. It's just her walking down the hallway. So why is it tilted? I don't understand what's going on.
I just learned how to film, Michael. Stop it.
Yeah, they just threw a fucking camera in someone's hands. They threw it in a teenager's hand and said, go make a movie for us.
That's the thing. The cinematography's not very good, but I think a lot of the framing or like the setup for the films are really thought out. Like
there's some shots that are good.
The house, though, in general, you go through all of it in the beginning, so every area that gets explored later, when the leprechaun pops up, you're like, oh, I know this location. It's the same thing I bitch about in a lot of times. Like, I don't feel like I know enough of this location, so these things don't have a lot of weight. But in this movie, I know that kitchen, I know that living room, I know that basement. That's great. I think you should have had more scenes in the basement, personally. But
I wish we could have seen the barn.
Yeah,
because they basically just throw him in there, close the doors behind him. You don't see what he's doing, and then he just emerges with a fucking car that knocks over a fucking truck. I wish we kind of got it because like I forgot there was even a barn. That's my thing. Like I forgot that was even there. So when he runs over into the barn and gets in a car, I'm like, well, where the fuck did this come from? Like I don't like. Okay, cool. I guess it's fine.
I think they do a great job setting up all the locations for the most part, though, and they do a really good job of saying like, hey, we've been here. You know where this is. Blah 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 blah.
I even forgot about the well, honestly, and I know that's why
I love the way the well looks, and when it's lit at the end, it's such a fucking that nice strong greenish blue is so prominent.
Yeah, I like the well. It's just I kind of wish going back to the well. I kind of wish that was more of a prominent thing in scenery. Maybe it was, and I just didn't notice it. But it just seemed like they're like, oh, we'll put it in the well. I'm like, there's a well? Okay. Cool.
I see in the background more, like, pretty
maybe I
often.
just didn't notice it because I was paying attention to the characters or something.
I'd seen it before, and I know the ending of the movie, so that's why, to me, I just picked up on it a little bit more.
Speaking of the well, the very, very end of the movie.
Yeah. I don't know who fucking put C4 in that well.
That was my thing. The first thing I said, they dumped the gasoline down the well. But he's like, oh, they're going to light them on fire. And they dump the gasoline down there, and then they throw the match down, and then it explodes like a Michael Bay fireball. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, if you had a bunch of fire shoot out of the well, that's one thing, but like, you can't do that with gasoline, dude.
It's like it doesn't create an explosion. It's just
I didn't know fucking O'Grady had been fucking planting C4 at the bottom as well in case somebody started coming in that he didn't like, but there's no reason it should explode like that.
Maybe there's a fucking methane leak in there, who knows? But they just fucking throw the match on it.
Radon well.
It's like the director was sitting there like, yes, we're gonna have an explosion somewhere in this movie because we have it in the budget, so why not? And then they just said, fuck it, we'll blow up the well. It doesn't make sense why we're gonna blow up the well, but fuck it, people just like watching explosions. And it exploded. The first thing I said, that's not how gasoline works, man. Like it's just flammable, my guy. Like, oh my god, that kind of blew me away. And also, like he got hit with he got the clover shot down his throat, which was pretty cool. It's cool kind of.
Also, it's good setup too because they show the kid has the slingshot beforehand.
At first, I was saying, well, why don't you just hit him in the head with it? But then when he shot it down his throat, I'm like, oh, that's better though because it's inside him. He can't take it off or anything. Like
he says, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," which is the very '90s catchphrase. I guess I only get a little gripe about it.
I knew that catchphrase without even seeing the film.
Yeah.
'Cause
I just
I've
get gripey about it
talked
because they show the Lucky Clover cereal box, and they say Lucky Charms one other time, and it's like, so Lucky Charms exists in this? You guys just don't buy brand cereal? What the fuck?
No, that they couldn't pay to show the logo.
That's the weirdest thing. It's so funny
No.
though.
Yeah, but that was cool because one of the cooler things, I wish we kind of got a little bit more of it, but I'm assuming it was budgetary reasons why we didn't. But seeing like the leprechaun like melting, I wish we got a little bit more of it, but I'm sure maybe
I love the way they show him getting fucked up, and like he looks just beaten to shit by the end too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's cool.
When he gets the baton through the eye and he pulls it out and he puts another eye in, but his eye still looks damaged.
Yeah, he takes the cop's eyeball out. I'm just watching him with his fucking giant ass fingernails, and I'm just sitting there like ew, because I'm just thinking he's gonna stick it in his eye and then fucking skewer his eyeball with his nails because they're so damn sharp.
The only thing that I think was weird is when his hand gets chopped off. I'm like, oh yeah, I know this is a prosthetic hand. That's fine, but that looks like a very big hand. Like that hand doesn't look like the same
Way
size
bigger
as
than
the
it
other
should be.
one.
Yeah, and it crawls up. When you're seeing it crawling up, and the animatronic for it's not great.
Yeah.
Because it kind of just looks like it's doing this.
Yeah.
And it's just magically crawling. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's whatever. They probably didn't have very much money for this
Yeah,
movie.
I think it looks decent enough. It doesn't bother me.
whatever.
I just thought it was funny. He picks up the hand. I'm like, hey, dude, that left hand is much bigger than your
And the one
right
you're
hand.
holding it with.
Yeah.
He just sticks it back out. I'm like, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Leprechaun.
like your hand should be able to fit over your wrist decently, and he's holding onto it like this, like he can barely hold his left hand.
It's like the studio had like a couple of hand molds, but they didn't have money to take an actual mold of Warwick Davis's hand.
Yeah, they did a regular sized fucking like a 5'10" guy's hand.
It's like they just took it out of the warehouse and said, okay, we'll just dress this up like his hand and we'll just whatever. They won't notice it. It's okay, fine, whatever. Fuck it. Again, like that just adds to kind of like a what the fuck factor to this movie.
Yeah.
Just like, wow, this is just really dumb.
I love it, man. I think this movie's so fun, and like I would say 100%, if I was gonna make a movie that just be off the walls crazy and had so much fun with it, and it came out like Leprechaun, I'd be happy. I wouldn't care if it wasn't a well-made movie, but it looked like fun and people just were having a good time on screen and you could see it. I'd be fucking happy with that. Like, I think the director, at the end of the day, if he said, I made Leprechaun, he should be proud of it. That's because all I see is just people having a good time, just causing some fun on screen. And that's cool.
Yeah, I'll say for sure that I thought this was going to be a lot worse than it was. A lot more of an excruciating experience to sit through, and I had a decent time with it. I wouldn't say that, like I had the greatest time in the world watching this. I had a lot of moments where I was just sitting there like, that's okay.
Yeah.
But I was surprised. I'll say I was surprised.
I'm not saying it's a good movie.
No, I know.
But I'm saying it's a fun time, and you can just see the director having fun.
One of the other things, this is what I forgot about this one. One of the other things that like really it got me to gasp was because they make a whole big deal out of how like, it's not the 1950s anymore. I can do things myself. Women can do whatever they want, which is fine, cool, that's true. But the fucking love interest, I don't know if it's supposed to be a savage jab or something, or if they just weren't thinking when they wrote it, but after that whole conversation, by the way, she's dressed in a polka dotted dress, which reminds me of the 1950s, which is funny. When they're supposed to be cleaning up stuff, he hands her a broom and says, you can work this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just like, wow. I don't know if that was an intentional like savage jab, but it's whoo, baby. That was awkward.
I'll say this much that I like about that character is he doesn't come across like a misogynist. There's times he points out where she says stuff, it's like, do you really stand by that? Because she goes, I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat meat. And he pulls her shoes off.
Pulls her shoe off and says, this is made out of dead cow too.
Do you really care? She's like, give me my shoe back. It's like, well, he's not saying that like, oh, being a vegetarian is stupid. He's just saying, hey, how strong is your moral center? And you can say it to a lot of people. If you say it like an asshole, you look like an asshole. But that character doesn't come across like a misogynistic douchebag. And he really could. It's pretty easy.
And I think the dig was more so at the fact that she was a very prim and proper, like, LA girl rather than her being a woman. It's just that when you have that conversation after that first conversation, it can be taken that way. It can be taken that way, and you're just like, ooh, that's
my favorite thing is they say that they came from Beverly Hills, and they're in this cobwebbed fucking house in North Dakota, and I have to say, like, the dad must not have paid for the house. He must have gotten it for free. There is no, like,
Well,
He's
someone died
clearly
in the
not
house.
tight on money.
Someone died in the house, so.
Yeah, he clearly is not tight on money. He's just saying, I don't like Los Angeles. There's no way he paid for that house, because nobody cleaned it at all.
I was just surprised about the decision to go to fucking North Dakota.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny because it's like, oh, there's a bunch of cobwebs and spiderwebs in the basement. It's like, I'm okay with that in a basement. You clearly don't care, but that's in the living room. That stuff is in your living room.
Yeah, no one, the realty people just kind of, I feel like they just handed them the key and said, it's turnkey, we're not fucking with it.
Yeah, they must have said, like, we'll pay you to take the house.
Yeah, essentially, like, no one would buy it because, again, like, somebody died in it and another person had a stroke in it. Also, I thought he was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
But they were like, yeah, he had a stroke, and it's kind of funny because the leprechaun's like, be careful, you're gonna have a stroke.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to light the fire and stuff. It's kind of funny, like, he tried to kill the leprechaun in the beginning the same way he gets killed in the end.
Yeah.
So
that's why I think there's some funny, cool ideas. There's good foreshadowing in the movie. It's not a well-made movie, but it's a fun movie that I don't think is as structurally bad as you would think.
No, I mean, it's very much a slasher movie. It functions very similarly to it, other than the fact that there's just not that many kills, in my opinion, or at least some of them are very unceremonious. Like, they don't really try that hard. Like the first death in the movie is whatever. You know, she falls down the stairs, breaks her neck. You know, like, even O'Grady doesn't, like, they don't show you anything other than the fact he just pops through the top of the elevator.
It's so fucking funny.
Like,
when they show the
Mr. O'Grady, oh no!
I'd be like, oh, okay, so he killed O'Grady off screen. I'm okay with that, I guess. But when he pops through, I'm like, oh, how's it going?
Yeah, if that was actually him in the chair and he was dead, and it was just like there was some kind of like makeup job that did on him, and it was a super savage death or something, that'd be fine. I don't care about it happening off screen. It's just like when he just gets shoved through the top and he's not dead, he just dies hanging there. I'm like, okay. It really screams of a movie that probably just didn't have that much money behind it.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of it on the location and Warwick Davis and his makeup instead of kills. Like, some of the stuff, like the pogo stick kill, is pretty fucking cool.
The way the leprechaun dies, the explosion.
The way leprechaun dies looks really good. Yeah, like, they spend a lot of money on stuff like that, but they definitely didn't go all out on, like, actual kills.
Yeah.
And I don't anticipate that the next couple are gonna have better ones.
We should watch the second one. As far as I remember, the second one was fun.
Which one's that one?
The Vegas. The leprechaun goes to Vegas.
Oh.
So I remember not liking the first one very much. I thought, oh, whatever, fuck this movie. The second one's fun, though. So if this is fun, I'd have to imagine the second one's got to be just as much fun. I don't want to watch anything after that, but I remember the second one being a decently fun time.
Yeah, you'll definitely never catch me watching either of the ones, the hood ones. You'll never catch me watching.
Back to the hood.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna. And everyone told me.
I have to wonder how racist
with the Leprechaun Origins movies and stuff like that.
It's gotta be pretty fucking racist. I'm very curious about how racist it is.
That's why I don't want to watch it. Like, I just don't want to sit through it.
It's gotta be pretty bad.
It's just gonna make me really just annoyed, and I'm just gonna be.
He goes to space too.
I know.
The funniest thing though, he goes to the hood.
Then he
goes to space, and he goes.
And he goes back.
No, I'm going back to the hood.
And then there's Leprechaun.
I found my calling.
And then there's Leprechaun Origins, and then Leprechaun Returns, or something like that.
I really hope they have a fucking basketball match in the Leprechaun movie when he goes to the hood. I would love him to fucking play basketball. That should be sick. I would love for somebody to throw him through the hoop. That'd be fucking awesome.
Bro, that's how he dies.
I wonder how they kill him in the next few movies, because it's like, oh, the 4-leaf clover, he gets shot down the throat. That's pretty definitive, and he clearly doesn't die. So how the fuck do you kill him? Because you can't shoot him. Very curious. They must have just done some stupid shit, or just say like, hey, you just, I don't know, put soap up his ass and he explodes or something. I don't know, but...
It seems to me like, I know they put the little voiceover at the end saying like, I'll be back or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if they actually really thought they'd get another one of these.
I think it's pretty ballsy to think they did. Like, they're like, yeah, we'll get another one. And they did.
They're like 5 or 6.
Good for them.
5. They got 5.
Good for them. 1.
No, 6. Because they have 1, 2, 3, 4 is Back to the Hood. Then they have...
Hold on. Yeah. First, then Vegas, then Hood, Space, Back to the Hood is 5.
Origins.
I think Origins. There might be another one, though, too.
No, there's Origins and Returns, and I think they're both with Hornswoggle.
No, one's not with Hornswoggle.
I don't know what the other one is. I don't think either one of those have Warwick Davis in it, though.
No.
I have no interest in watching. Maybe I'll watch 2, but I will not watch.
Oh, there's Leprechaun 1, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4, then In the Hood, Back to the Hood, Origins. 4 is in space.
Wait, so what? There's 3 before that?
3 is Vegas, so I think actually. So I haven't seen 2. So there is 8 actually.
What?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Alright, so we have to watch 3.
What the fuck, dude? Are you kidding me?
Is that? Yeah, One Night in Las Vegas. Fuck yeah, bro. I'm so down.
Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3.
What's 2, man?
Leprechaun 4. Wow.
Can we watch 3? I want to watch that so fucking bad now.
I cannot believe.
Best thing, they make Vegas look great in movies, man. Vegas sucks.
The film centers on, for Leprechaun 2, centers on a psychopathic leprechaun hunting for a bride.
Let's watch 2 then too.
Oh Christ.
We gotta do that.
Oh my god.
How about March? It's Leprechaun month.
Fine.
This is sick. I'm so excited.
There's plenty of time to not.
I know. I'm excited though. I really want to. It's gonna be a long wait, but it's gonna be worth it, man. Searches for a bride, dude. It's gonna get his fuck on, man.
Take my own life.
It's gonna get his fuck on. Oh, another thing I love is that he has to shine shoes.
Oh my god,
that's so fucking funny. They start throwing shoes. He goes, "No, dude, fuck." He looks. He was like, "You fucking sons of bitches."
That might have been the funniest part of the movie to me. Was when they were like, "Oh, we gotta you distract the leprechaun, and I'll drive to the old folks' home to find out how to kill him." And fucking. They just start throwing shoes all over the place. He's just like, "Oh, what am I gonna do? I gotta clean this one. 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 What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?" He just starts losing his mind. It's like, hey, if it's that easy, just
I would have loved a scene.
Toss him in the local Goodwill and just call it a day.
I would have loved a scene where she leaves and he's still shining shoes and they're getting back in the house. He goes, "Oh, you fucking bastards!" Like he just keeps cleaning them. That's awesome. Even when he kills the coin guy, he's like, "Oh."
He just shines
his shoes dirty, man. He starts cleaning. It's like
blood.
There's blood everywhere. You're not cleaning. He goes, "That looks pretty good. You're terrible at your job."
It's so fucking stupid.
I love that. This movie is so much fucking fun.
They bring back the buckle thing at the end. He starts cutting fucking Ozzy.
Ozzy, yeah.
So fucked up. That might be one of the more like grisly moments in the movie for me.
Because they really make him likable. Like you really feel bad for him.
Yeah, I like all the characters.
What is it? He's like the guy from Of Mice and Men, where he just doesn't understand. Yeah, Lenny.
Yeah, because he has a happier end.
Well, also he doesn't do half the bad things that Lenny does.
True. Yeah, no, I like all the characters. Just like they're fun to watch.
They interact well together. They just feel like they're just having fun.
Yeah, I can't picture myself revisiting this movie, at least not for a while.
See,
but I had a decent enough time watching it, so I'm not mad or anything.
My biggest thing when it comes to a lot of slasher films is people are really critical, being like, "Well, it's just a bunch of fucking shitty teenagers that you want to die," and I'm like, what the fuck movies are you guys watching? Because you guys are listing films like Friday, Nightmare, Leprechaun, and it's like, even in Leprechaun, I don't want these kids to die. Like, you guys are clearly fucking weird if you just want these teenagers to die because they're having fun. Like, put yourselves in their shoes. They're trying to just be good fucking friends, have fun together, and they just fucking encounter some crazy shit. Why do you want them to die? I think you should want your killer to be a fucking menace and like assert themselves, kill off people that you don't like, but why would you want these teenagers to die? Friday Part 2. I don't want most of those kids to die. They're pretty good kids. Like, they get into some, like, oh yeah, well, I want to check out this abandoned area. I know millions of fucking people that check out abandoned areas, and they shouldn't die for it.
Yeah, no, of course.
They're not over here like, hey dude, let's go fucking... They're not like in the Toxic Avenger where they're like running over fucking old ladies and trying to kill random people they walk into. Those guys are fucking terrible. They should die, but... Oh, well, that's abandoned. I want to check it out. Fuck them. They've made their first mistake. Then they're gonna have sex? Not in Jesus' house. I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, I'm generally not in the camp of like, let all the fucking characters die. I mean, there's some slasher movies where the characters are just so unlikable.
Especially in the 2000s.
Oh yeah,
most
100%.
Teenagers in the 90s. Teenagers in the 90s and 2000s are fucking terrible usually.
Kill literally everybody in Halloween Resurrection, and I'll be fucking happy.
Yeah.
Just kill them all.
I wish the movie ended.
I barely like the main girl, so
even
kill them all.
even most of the characters in like
Freddy vs.
remakes
Jason
for the films, like the Friday remake, I don't like most of them.
I can't say that I was upset by most of the deaths in Freddy vs. Jason, so that's fine.
Yeah.
The remakes for sure for Freddy. The remakes for Freddy and Jason for sure.
I like, obviously, Jared Padalecki's character.
Yeah, I mean, there are characters in both of those movies that I don't mind. Like I like him, and I like Kyle Gallner's character.
He's decent.
He's fine.
I don't like Rooney Mara.
He's fucking Nancy, the main character of the movie, and I wouldn't care. Actually, no. Like the only character in the Nightmare remake where I can say for sure, like, I don't want that person to die. She does die, and it's fucking Kitty Cassidy's character. I wish she was the main character.
I don't hate Thomas Dekker that much in the movie either, but
he pisses me off.
But you don't care about him either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just a douchebag. I don't like him in that movie. I like Thomas Dekker as an actor. I don't like him in that movie. I think he's written to be just a prick. So when he dies, I don't care. I understand that Trent in the Friday movies Friday the 13th remake is supposed to be an unlikable douchebag.
Yeah.
But he's kind of like on that side of where it's just like he's just irritating at times. So
yeah,
like
he's just like he's just the character he was in Transformers to like the 10th degree.
Yeah, like even way worse.
Yeah, he's just
because it's rated R and he can say more vulgar things.
The other friend that was the blonde who's like the fucking Owen Wilson clone is super fucking annoying. You probably don't even remember him. He dies and he gets shot in the fucking head when he's driving the boat.
Oh, yeah.
The only guys I like in there are the fucking Asian guy and the black dude. They're cool. They seem like they're having fun. And when they both die, it's like, oh, well, their deaths are way worse than the other two guys, and they're likable. What the fuck?
I can't remember the name of the Asian actors.
He's in the remake for Nightmare 2.
Yep, and he's also in Disturbia.
Oh.
He's the main character's best friend.
He's good. He's like.
Oh, I like him. He shows up he's also on the Tomorrow People.
Yeah.
He's on the Tomorrow People, and he's really good on the Tomorrow People. So I just like that actor.
You know, besides like this generation of the 2000s and a lot of characters in the 90s, I think especially in the 80s, these teenagers are usually likable. They're usually fun characters, and I've never understood the whole. Well, they're just stupid kids getting into some stupid shit that deserve to die. And I hear that all the time. And I mean all the time. I hear it from the actors sometimes. It's like, watch the movie. These kids are pretty likable. They don't deserve this. Even in a film like Leprechaun, which is a stupid fucking movie, I don't want them to die. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, generally speaking, they don't do anything in this movie that I would consider to be, like, offensive. As far as choices that are made, even.
Yeah. None of them really do anything that stupid.
Yeah, like as soon as he goes in the bear trap, as soon as he's in the bear trap and they know that the leprechaun's out there, first thing they say is go get the shotgun.
Yeah.
No, he does.
He still beats the shit out of that fucking leprechaun.
Yeah.
I love the idea of, dude. They first meet the leprechaun. He's already in the bear trap, and he's just fucking punching it. And then fucking Jennifer Aniston goes, wait a minute. She gets a sick. They start fucking going back and forth beating the fucking thing.
He is literally hitting it with a flashlight.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
My God, it's like at least they're putting up a fight. They're going for it.
They're brutalizing him. The idea of your main villain comes up like, haha, you're caught in my trap. Wait, no, what's that? Ow, fuck, oh, a stick, fuck, you got a gun? Oh shit! Like,
well, he's yelling about. He's like, you guys can't hurt me. I'm a leprechaun. Blah, blah, blah. I got magic. Blah 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 blah. And he just keep getting whacked on. He's trying to bite people. He just keeps getting hit. And then the guy comes up with the shotgun. He goes, bah! Blows him off his fucking feet.
Another scene I really like is the leprechaun starts chasing Jennifer Aniston, but he goes by the fucking Nathan with the wounded leg, and he goes, how's your leg? And he kicks him in the leg, and he falls.
That shit, I was screeching when that happened because I almost missed it.
That has to be ad-libbed, and that's fucking hilarious.
Fucking funny.
How's your leg? Fucking just boots him there.
That was really funny. I have to give them credit for that. That was really funny.
Okay. Let's go into final thoughts. I know it's gonna be a short episode, but all we're just doing is having a fun time talking about this absolute just crazy film. Hit me with your final thought on Leprechaun.
Leprechaun's a terrible movie. It's really bad, but It is really fun at times. I had fun. There's a lot of what the fuck factor to it, where you're kind of just like in awe of some of the things that happen in it. You know, him driving on the highway with a fucking tiny little toy car and all that stuff. Like, just flipping a giant truck with a small little fucking car. Like, there's just some really, really ridiculous things that happen. It's clearly a movie that doesn't take itself seriously, and as much as I definitely would say it's not a good movie, I had a good time. That's fine. I can deal with that. Will I ever watch this movie again? Or will I watch it soon again? No, I doubt it. Am I looking forward to next March when we do fucking Leprechaun month? No.
Yes, Leprechaun month.
Yeah, am I looking forward to that? I really don't want it to happen. I hope I die before then. But yeah, I mean, like, I had a good time. I thought I was gonna really hate this when we discussed doing Hush and then this for our kind of like interim before our next event. I was just like, oh, man, why? Like, I picked a good movie. Why'd you pick this one? And then I sat down and watched it. And I'm just like, oh, okay, you know, this isn't too bad. I had a good time. So would I give it, you know, like a great review? Probably not. But I would express definitely that there is an enjoyment factor to it. It's definitely, I would say it's a. I honestly don't know how I would grade this movie. Like, objectively, it's like a 3. I think from my just like enjoyment factor of it though, 7.5.
I fuck with that.
I had a really good time. The first 10 or so minutes, I wasn't like super duper on board with. But once Aniston showed up and the rest of the characters came in, I was like, yeah, this is a really stupid fucking movie, but I at least like the people I'm watching, so it's very easily watchable. And Warwick Davis is having a blast, so whatever.
With that. I love Leprechaun. I remember when I first watched it, I thought, I don't get it, man. Who cares? And I said it because I know it's a lot of fun to talk about movies that aren't just great, but just fucking batshit crazy. And this is the perfect movie for that. I sat down, I put it on after the first 10 minutes. I'm like, I don't know, this is okay, I guess. It's not a good movie, but what's there to it? Every 10 minutes that goes by, my smile gets wider and wider. I end up looking like the fucking Joker from the Batman 1989 movie by the end of it. And this is just a fun time. I don't think it's good, but I think if you like horror, especially in the 80s and 90s, I think it's a must-see. Just sit down, just don't have expectations, just try to have some fun, and you'll get that, and that's kind of cool.
Don't try to look at this movie like it's some kind of piece of Shakespeare. It is a dumb movie. It is the definition of so bad it's good, in my opinion.
This is a movie
that's good in it, with stuff that is good, legitimately.
Yeah. This is a movie that I think people should strive to make when they have a passion for the genre, and they're saying, I want to start off and talk about how much I love it and how much I enjoy these tropes. Make a movie like this to start off and say, you know what? That was fun. And then you go on from that, and you can make great cinema, you can make bad cinema, you can make whatever the fuck you want. But when you have a film that's this passionate about having a good time, how can I have a bad time?
Yeah, I will retract. This is the definition of a B movie.
Yes.
I would say this is a B horror film, as much of a B tier slasher film. No, it's probably a C tier slasher film, but because there's not that much slashing in it. But it is kind of like that B movie kind of entertainment quality to it. You know, if you have a couple buddies over and you have maybe some beers and some pizza, you probably have a good time. It's not something to take too seriously. And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you need to watch something that's not like what we watched last week. It was a serious movie. It's one of those nerve shredders, kind of like you got to watch it and your heart's in your throat. This is completely polar opposite to that.
I think that's kind of why it was cool that we had these two picks. You know, I think back to back they had a great dynamic, and I'm glad I got to watch a film where I can have fun and say, you know what, I don't fucking care anymore. I'm pretty critical about some films, and I get really way too analytical, and sometimes it's nice to say, hey, that's just fun.
It's entertaining.
I'd say 7.5 is the same way I would go. I had a great time watching it. It was fun. Who fucking cares? And I think that's what we gotta say about this film for today. Thanks a lot for joining us. I hope you check out Leprechaun and have just as much fun. And we have some cool things planned for next episode and a few episodes to follow, so tune in for that. And with that, I'll leave you to it. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.